think I will have a career after this. I think I'm going to be honest, he broke me. He broke me. He broke. And then I was like, no, this isn't right. It's just not right. And I apologize because that was the right thing to do and I meant it.
Republicans have all the guns. Democrats have all the pronouns. Who do you think's winning? So I know that no one's ever really accused Kathy Griffin of ever being stable or mentally fit or even funny, for that matter. Even though she identifies as a comedian. She identifies as a comedian the same way guys identify as women, I guess. No one's ever accused her, though, of being funny. And I'll say that. My first experience with Kathy Griffin, my first non-sexual experience with Kathy Griffin, was watching her on Whose Line Is It Anyway back in whenever that show was popular. I know they brought it back, but without Drew Carey, it sucks. And she was just not funny. Like, I don't understand. Like, and this isn't like a whole women can't be funny thing, because I don't necessarily believe that at all. But she's just not funny. And then I think that she sort of took that and started to do what all these woke lefties started to do, which was they used the orange man as their way of sort of getting attention. And we saw it with the ISIS picture that she took back in the day, and then she had this wonderful response after people came after her, I think fairly, for such a horrific decision.
I'm not afraid of Donald Trump. He's a bully.
Kathy Griffin says she came up with the idea of this controversial photo, which we've altered, after hearing Donald Trump talking about Megyn Kelly during the presidential debate she moderated back in August of 2015.
You could see there was blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her wherever.
I thought of that, blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her everywhere. And then I thought, well, let's make this really obvious that I'm really making an absurdist, artsy, statementy thing. Just give them something to talk about. I'm 56 years old. I'm 110 pounds wet. I've had everybody turn on me, and I just want to make people laugh. That's all I want to do. So I screwed up.
There was fear.
The death threats that I'm getting are constant, and they are detailed, and they are serious, and they are specific.
Defeat.
I don't think I will have a career after this. I'm going to be honest, he broke me. He broke me. He broke. And then I was like, no, this isn't right. It's just not right. And I apologize because that was the right thing to do and I meant it.
And you would think that she would have sort of learned her lesson after that stuff happened to her, but apparently she hasn't. And I know some of you might have seen this tweet from, I think it was like 2 or 3 days ago now. But she tweeted out, let me pull it up for you guys. If you don't want a civil war, vote for Democrats in November. If you do want civil war, vote Republican. Now, that sounds like you're calling for violence if people don't vote the way that you say. If you vote for the Democrats, we're good. We're good. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. No violence. If you vote for Republicans, war is going to break out. We're going to start a war. What? What? Like were you starved for attention? By the way, this tweet was from September the 6th, so a week ago. It's still up on Twitter. Think about all the stuff that Twitter bans. Think about all the tweets, all the people that get kicked off, and the reasons why they get kicked off. And now realize that somebody who is threatening civil war if you don't vote the way that they demand, that tweet's completely fine. Their account is completely up. Nothing's happened to them. And I guarantee you people have reported it. It's got 29.7 thousand likes. 4,000 retweets. You can't tell me there's not at least 100 people that reported this tweet as against the Twitter community guidelines for violence, threatening violence. And Twitter just went, no, it's fine. It's fine. Now imagine if the roles were reversed. And I know it's like, it's so lazy. But it's true at this point. It's so true at this point. Like, one side gets to just do whatever they want, whenever they want to do it, and there's no recourse. And, oh, it's a privately owned company. We've already gone over in a previous video the concept of why Twitter is actually violating the law that they hide behind as a platform and not a publisher, and how they still, because of that, they still censor to one side. Now, if they just allowed everything, then nobody would have anything to say about this Kathy Griffin tweet still being up. Nobody would really have anything to say about her saying it at all, other than wow, she's calling for violence. People wouldn't be like, why is this tweet still up? Twitter, why are you allowing this? This is not a violation of your guidelines. People wouldn't have that sort of. There would be, I think, less of a reaction to it, because people would just chalk it up as Kathy Griffin being crazy. But there's such a clear double standard when this gets tweeted out and the tweet gets to stay up. Like, are they just suggesting that Kathy Griffin has no power? I mean, they gave her a check mark. She's a verified account user. So it's not like Twitter itself doesn't acknowledge that she is not someone of influence, because people who get the verification check mark are getting it because they're considered to be people of influence, and it's showing other users that this is the actual person behind the account, that this is the person of influence. So you're acknowledging that she's a person of influence, but you're not getting rid of a tweet where she calls for violence because she's not influential enough for it to succeed. But then there's people that were totally okay with that Biden speech, and I just saw something this morning. It was a debate with Jimmy Dore, and there was this comedian who went on, and his whole thing was talking about how he liked Biden's speech. Like,
I feel like politically people are a lot less open-minded when you're specifically talking about politics. But I also find that, Biden supporters are more open-minded by far than Trump supporters. Trump supporters claim to be very, all about free speech, and they're the most snowflakey, sensitive people.
Yeah. So what was your take on Biden's speech?
I liked it. I know you hated it. I liked it. I thought that it was calling it like it is. I know you disagree, and you don't think, I was watching your video today, you don't think there's a difference between Hillary camp claiming that she won the election and not respecting Trump's win, and the same happening with Biden. But there's an enormous difference.
Like, and he's telling that stuff to two people that are way more on the left than me or anyone I know. Jimmy Dore is a flat-out socialist. Kurt Metzger is pretty much right on board with him. You liked it? He's calling it as it is? It's people, just start your own. Well, people do start their own, and then all the companies, all the service providers, and all the bandwidth people, I don't know, bandwidth providers, I feel like I said providers too much, so I just went bandwidth people. They just ban the apps. They nerf the website's ability to handle high volumes. It's just same thing that YouTube does. Thank God Rumble's starting to sort of pick up some momentum here, and they got a little bit more money now from all the sponsorship deals, so they're going to start using it, and they're going to be able to pick it up as well. But I mean, it's never going to be like YouTube. It can't be. It just can't be. There's too much going on with YouTube. YouTube's too much of a staple within people's lives, and it's hard to get people to give up the habit of going to YouTube over Rumble. And also, when you have Google, when you type something in, the videos they're going to recommend are not going to be Rumble videos. They're going to be YouTube videos. When you look for somebody's account, like if you type in Kathy Griffin, you're going to get her Twitter account. Like, that's going to be one of the first things that pops up. Her Wikipedia page and her Twitter account. That's going to be what pops up. That's not going to change. Google's not going to change that. So you're constantly going to be driven to these places by the search engines. So that's why people want these places to be fair. And she's lost her mind. I mean, she lost it a long time ago, but like, has she even made an attempt to find it? Doesn't look like it. Or maybe she's just starved for attention. Maybe she's got a new special coming out. I don't know. Apparently she's released 23 comedy specials. Has anyone seen any of them? Who paid her to make 23 comedy specials. I know people talk about everyone gets a comedy special these days, but I mean, I don't think that this kind of throws that theory out the window. Like, what do you mean these days? Apparently it was all the time. 23 specials. How about we don't threaten civil war over a vote? Especially when it's like, let's say there was a civil war. Republicans have all the guns, Democrats have all the pronouns. Who do you think's winning? If it really came down to it, who do you think's winning? The one with all the guns or the ones with all the pronouns? You tell me. And you can tell me in the comment section below. And you can do that after you leave a thumbs up or before you leave a thumbs up, but make sure you leave that thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe already. The button's right there at my chin. There's going to be recommended videos on either side of my head because YouTube, as much as I hate them, they also know the algorithms of what my viewers are searching, and then they recommend videos that I make for those viewers to continue watching. So hopefully you guys have gotten this far and you watch those videos. Thanks for coming. See you next time.